Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. I'm Star Wars competitor Andrew Dimalanta.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
And we're still in the off-season of the Schmoedown. Yes, last week we talked about Inner Geekdom and Star Wars Division, and we're starting to do the same thing on this episode with the singles and team division. Just looking at the competitors, looking at the teams, and see how their rise to the championship, as it may be. But before we get into that, we want to talk about something that happened this past week, unfortunately, that the Schmoedown family lost one of its own. It's kind of a gloomy thing to start the show with Paul Preston's wife, Karen. Mm-hmm. Passed away last week, and it's always hard to lose somebody. And we just wanted us to say, give our thoughts and prayers out to Paul. It's a hard time to lose somebody. And however, if Paul is able to hear this, if somebody wants to clip this out, or he somehow stumbles upon this podcast, we just wanted to let him know that, our thoughts and prayers are with your family, you and your family. And it's just hard to lose somebody. And with that, we have to try to transition out of this. I think we'll do a little bit of housekeeping right now. Our boy Kevin Smets listens. He's a listener to the podcast now. Just glad to hear that. And I have to do a little bit of a correction. He messaged me and said, "Yeah, man, love the show, but as far as the don't tell Peter question, Peter wasn't in the question." So I wanted to apologize for that. Again, it's a long season. It's hard to remember every single detail. But yeah, that's a little bit of housekeeping. We also have a couple of announcements too for the next season. We do. So
yes, because we found out that in Atlanta, coming up pretty soon, when that February?
Yes, end of February.
In the end of February, the card was announced. It's going to be what's the main event?
So main event is Bateman versus
the winner of Bibiani Oyama. Mm-hmm. And then the undercard is going to be, oh God, I don't remember her name.
It's Emily Rose Jacobs, I think.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Emily Rose Jacobs versus Alex Damon, he's sashaying into Inner Geekdom.
Yeah, debuting in Inner Geekdom. I mean, he's talked about this before. I mean, both of us have talked about jumping into Inner Geekdom, but obviously it makes sense for him because he's I think he's just getting bored.
Maybe. And
he just had a title defense, so I was just hoping against hope somehow get a Star Wars match out of it or something, but it's obviously for obvious reasons. He just defended the title. You got to give time for that to build up, especially such a small division.
Yeah,
and it makes sense for him to get his feet wet in Inner Geekdom because I believe that another one of his strengths is probably Lord of the Rings. Because because we've talked about it before, and I think I commented on him watching Lord of the Rings sometime, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I wouldn't."
Well, you never know. Maybe I'll do it.
No, but he said, "Yeah, I wouldn't be studying a movie that I know by heart." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Okay.
Wow.
So that might be one of his strengths. I don't know if Harry Potter is one of his, but yeah, if he can be dominant in that division, he's just increasing his draft stock. So
that is for sure.
Mm-hmm. I
have my own thoughts about a Star Wars competitor going in Inner Geekdom, but it all depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends on the person, and also somebody if I were to jump into Inner Geekdom the same season, I'm trying to go for the title.
That's mainly where my opinions lie. With you.
That's very different.
Yes.
But for somebody that already has the title and has demonstrated his dominance in the division, it makes more sense.
Just kind of keep
because
it spicy.
It's the same thing like Dan Murrell, shown his dominance in the singles and team division. Mm-hmm. He's probably getting bored too. Let me jump into Inner Geekdom.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for somebody like Alex Damon, who's seasoned in Star Wars division, and he clearly wants to compete more, and he can't compete as often as he can in the Star Wars division. But yeah, so that was the first announcement, and then the second announcement was, I think you sort of hinted at it with Oyama and
Oyama and Bibiani.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody on Twitter. Who was it? Oh, I want to say it was either John Mariano. Mm-hmm. Or Billy Belford. I want to say it was Billy Belford that he mentioned, and I hadn't thought of it this way, that he was like, oh, well, it's kind of the match that never was kind of thing, or the what if card. Match. Yeah. If Bibiani had defeated Bateman at Spectacular, this is the matchup we might have gotten.
Yeah.
we might see a little bit of a different Paul Oyama
Oh, yeah,
than we
definitely.
saw
I
during the
definitely
Night
think
of
so.
Spectacular. But it will be interesting to see them go head to head and see how they measure up against each other.
Yeah, and either way, we'll get a rematch for the title with
I
either
kinda-
Bibbs Bateman or Bateman Oyama for a title rematch.
As much as I'd love to see either or. But I kind of, not that I don't want Bibiani to win, because I feel like Bibiani just has like these tragic losses. Like he gets so close and he's very deserving because he's so good.
Oh yeah.
But a small part of me also really would just kind of like to see a rematch of Oyama Bateman, because Oyama was just in such a funk that night.
Yes, it would get the title match that we were hoping to get at Spectacular. Basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that was not Paul Oyama that night. So I kind of would like to see, him in a
at the top of his
Yeah.
game, not in that funk and not getting in his own head. Because I honestly think he was just in his own head.
Yeah,
that
I don't
night.
know what happened that night, but I'd like to see a rematch at some point, whether it's for a title or not. I just would like to see a rematch because.
Yeah. And I think this isn't a number one contender match that Bibiani gave himself, because he has that number one contender match.
Does that expire?
He has until the next free for all to use it.
Okay.
So I don't think he used it for this one. I think he's saving that for teams. Because if it was the case, then it would have been in the announcement that Bibiani is cashing in on his free for all number one contender match thing to go for the title again. Yeah. So I don't think that's the case. So he still has that. I think he's going to use it on teams so he can take another shot at the Founding Fathers, or get to another shot for the Founding Fathers. So those are the two announcements that we got. So since we were talking about the singles division and potential rematches for everything, let's go ahead and dive into the singles division. And the current champion of that division
is Benjamin the Boss Bateman.
Ben Bateman, man, he was one of those competitors that's like, best to compete in the league, but never to have won a title. And for the longest time, Andreyko was like that. Because he
won teams.
He was so close to winning the singles title when Bibiani won it. And then he went on that run with Snyder and the Odd Couple, and they're the ones that beat the Shire Wolves. But then their reign was very short lived because they lost it back at Collision. So so let's go ahead and dive into that. So obviously Bateman debuts with team action with Andrew Guy, and he doesn't debut in singles. He debuts in teams. Hold on. Whoa.
Someone's at our front door.
Someone's at our front door.
Get away from my house.
What's
Nobody visits me. It's a package.
It's a package? Oh, okay. Well, let me...
Well, good, because I wasn't going to let anybody in anyway.
Oh, it's dog food.
Oh, perfect.
So give me 1 second. We'll cut this out. This makes for good radio, right? Well, maybe we'll leave this in. Or maybe not.
No, I say no.
We'll cut this out. So he debuts in the teams division, not singles, with team action. And what was their first match?
Yeah. Oh, well, let's
skip that. Let's look at his singles debut.
I'm looking at Star Wars Wikipedia as I did last time. So hopefully everything's accurate, because that's going to be where I'm getting my info. So according to his page,
Schmoedown Wikipedia, not Star Wars.
Did I say Star Wars?
You said Star Wars.
Holy shit!
That's how enthralled we are right now. We actually another peek behind the curtain. We've already started our study sessions and just diving deep into movies. So I think that's why she says Star Wars.
I blacked out for a second. I don't even remember saying Star Wars.
Yeah. So you're on the Schmoedown Wiki page,
yes,
not Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
So according to the Schmoedown Wikipedia, Ben has a singles record of 10-5.
Wow, he's one of those competitors that reached double digits.
Yeah, man. His team record is 12-8, but we're not really talking about him as far as team goes right now.
So what was his? Can you see where his first singles match was?
Yes, let's scroll down a little bit, and it looks like singles match history. Way back in September of 2017.
Wow.
Wow. It looks like he debuted as part of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way with Scott Mance, Elliot Dewberry, Jason Inman, and Robert Meyer.
Oh, it was that match.
And he came in second.
Wow. Who won that match?
I don't know.
Oh, well. Well, let's since his debut was so far ago or so long ago, let's let's just focus on this season, because if we go through every single one of his matches, that's gonna take forever. So I think we should just focus on this season for both of the champs.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So let's keep on fucking scrolling. All right. So where are we going here?
So 2019 season.
2019 season. Well, there's a spot here for a March 29th, 2019 match, but the opponent is blank and it says loss.
Oh, wow, okay.
Then in May at Schmoedown Live, I think this might have been in Booker T's place.
Yes,
he faced Andrew Guy and won by KO. And also chair bash.
That was the infamous spin it again on Spinner's Choice.
Oh yeah, the big dick move by doing that.
And
My goodness.
he just kept getting Spinner's Choice. And I think that's the match where it's like, fuck the digital wheel, because I don't trust digital wheels at all.
No, I don't either. I mean, you do what you can.
Yeah.
You can't really not Christian for if you can't bring a physical wheel with you on a plane, you got to do what you can. But yeah, no, I don't trust the digital wheel. It's too precise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how
it's so easy to it's easier to get the same category on multiple spins.
Yeah.
It's just, I just don't trust the digital wheel. And of course that same match after he wins the whole infamous chair bash match. And when he becomes a member of the Five Horsemen.
That's right. That's right.
That's up for Moment of the Year, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's right.
That was pretty cool to watch. I can't imagine how it would have been to see live, just to see the Fives go in the air. That's pretty cool. Moments like that are like pure wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so
well,
cool.
and it happened in a wrestling ring. So.
Yeah. So I miss Booker T in the Schmoedown, like breakdowns or predictions.
I would,
Schmoedown.
Yeah, I would love to do an imitation, but it would just be embarrassing.
Can you dig it, sucker? I'm not good at impressions either, so
I'm gonna try doing it, but not in front of a microphone. When we're done, I'll be Booker T for you.
So he knocks out Guy both figuratively,
literally,
and
metaphorically. And then after that, a couple months later, he goes against Mike Kalinowski.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but lost.
Oh wow.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia. Hoping it's right.
Yeah, I think this is when.
Otherwise, I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Yeah, otherwise, I think this is Kalinowski's like start of his like ridiculous run that he has.
It's so weird. This the table that's on the Wikipedia page. It's got like the date, the opponent, then the outcome, and then like in the middle, it's like, what did they spin in round 2? Like,
you couldn't get us the score. If any of the stats I want to see is the opponent, the winner, the score.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's like
so whoever's doing these
round 2 categories.
Yeah, so whoever's doing this table, can you just like that's my suggestion. Just like
it's just so random.
Yes.
I'd rather have a score than what they spun in
score,
round 2. But whatever. I mean, I respect it. Okay. I didn't make the table, so I can't really talk shit.
Okay, so his next match is what?
So the next match happened about a month later against Liz Shannon Miller, and she was that her? No, that could not have been her debut. They would not give her.
I think this is the they had that gauntlet with
2019 Ultimate Schmoedown.
Yeah, this is the gauntlet to see who actually goes into the tournament, and it was Ben Bateman, Liz Shannon Miller, I think.
Yeah.
Janine the Machine was in there.
Right.
I think Brendan Meyer was in this one too. I can't be sure. Again, it's a long season. It's hard to remember everything. But I think this was the gauntlet. And Bateman had to play like 3 matches in the same night, in the same recording.
Yeah.
And he gets in the tournament. And then and this is the beginning of his like ridiculous run. Mm-hmm. So I think because the next couple of matches are the actual singles tournament.
I want to say you're right, because the event under the event part of the table, it's for the next the next 3 matches, it just says 2019 Ultimate Schmoedown.
Yeah.
So
this is a singles tournament, and in the first round he goes up against.
Oh, after that, in about a little less than a month later, he went up against Paul Preston.
Yeah, and that's the first round of the tournament.
And he won.
Preston, man, just got.
Preston's really growing on me. Like when he first came in, I'm like, what is this, like Christian's drunk uncle? Like
Preston's fucking hilarious.
Who the
I
hell
love
is this
his
guy?
pre-match shtick. Where he has this pre-written thing on the board, and he's like, "Oh, the answer is Keith Sutherland." I was like, "We didn't ask you a question, but I'm imagining that'd be wrong."
And he's always like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But
He grew on me a lot.
This is around when his wife was struggling with cancer, and like
I'm
the
sure it's
fans
been
got
going on
behind
for
it,
a while.
and he just had so much on his plate. Like,
But the thing that's amazing is that he still was
still up for it.
He still put on a show.
Oh yeah.
And he just, I don't know. He just seems to, I don't mean to sound mushy and, whatever. I feel like it just shows that he has a brilliant spirit.
Brilliant heart, brilliant spirit. I really hope we see him in the next season.
I hope so too.
I really hope so, but take the time.
But if he doesn't, I go 100%
100% agree.
understand.
He takes time away from the game.
God, I can't even imagine.
He would have so many fans behind him. Mm-hmm. I really hope we get to see him and the movie guys.
I hope so. And it might provide him some sort of an outlet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And, everybody's
Best
grieving
kind of-
process is different.
Yeah, best kind of therapy is just to be around people. I mean,
So,
we've been through it, so
If he decides to continue
Mm-hmm.
for this season or, in general, I really, really would. I hope he does, but
yeah, because he's a great person. He's awesome competitor.
He's
so
really good.
But he's also a personality that we grew to love.
Yeah.
Because you were just like, I don't know about
There
this
was
guy.
a lot of people this season, like season 6, that when they first came out, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like Paulo Yama, I was like, get this little turd out of here.
we flipped on Paulo Yama. Preston was another one. I got on board with him quicker than you just because that shtick that he did with the.
I'm just like, this guy just looks like this drunk guy at a barbecue.
Was he? I don't think. No, he was up on the card to be nominated for entrance with his club entrance. That was funny.
I liked that one.
I liked that one, but he didn't get nominated though.
That's a shame because I really did like that one.
Yeah, that was one because we'll get more into the entrances when we talk about in the next episode with the draft and everything come up. But that was one of the ones I was like, oh man, it's a shame that didn't get in because it's so creative and original.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so Paul loses to Bateman in the first round. Then his second round match,
and then a quick turnaround of very close after that match was Brendan Meyer,
which did not see this outcome coming because I believe he TKO'd him.
He KO'd him.
Was it a straight up KO?
I mean, as long as the person making this table's right, it says win by KO.
Yeah, because Brendan Meyer's another one that was like surprise because like he goes up against Oyama in his debut match and loses, but then he comes back at the free for all and like,
oh yeah,
like astonishes everybody. It's like, wow, this kid knows his stuff, and he goes into the tournament and he gets knocked out in the second round.
I remember getting this match got spoiled for us
by
Brendan.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Because when we got there,
he bless his heart. He didn't
I know.
To.
I mean, this again, another peek behind the curtain. They obviously they tape these way in advance, and we were there and we're like, oh man, good luck in your next match. It's like, yeah, well, no, I get knocked out in the tournament. Like, oh man, don't spoilers.
Yeah, man, Bateman totally just knocked me the fuck out. Well, he didn't say fuck because I don't think he says swear words because he's just so sweet.
He's such a cool guy. But yeah, that happened twice to us because it was Brendan Meyer did that to us, and then Chandru did that too. So he was like, man, good luck in your next Inner Geekdom match. And he's like, oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a while. I'm like, oh, well, I guess he loses in his next match. And when that came out with the number one contender match with Smets, I guess like, oh well, I guess no, we know the outcome of this one. So, and it's just one of those things like when when people you talk to people about it, like
especially competitor to competitor.
Yeah, but like as a competitor to a fan, because like we had that experience when the Schmoedown came to Orlando, because the week before we filmed my match with Laura Kelly, the number one contender match with Star Wars. And I just had to play along because, like, at the end of the night, obviously Harloff's trying to promote the matches, like, oh, big match between Laura Kelly and Andrew Dimalanta. And I stand up and, like, oh, fuck yeah, Andrew Dimalanta. And he's like, oh, there he is. And it's like, it's got a big match coming up. There he is. Go ahead and talk to him about it. And everybody's afterwards,
wishing you luck.
Everybody's like exiting the theater. Oh, man, good luck in your match. I'm like, yeah, man, good luck in my match, man. Oh my god, yeah, we already taped it. I already lost. And we also met this one guy, Alex. I forgot his last name.
We just let him go as Alex.
Yeah, but this guy Alex, who I ended up working with, I hired him for second camera for a wedding that I was at, and we were just talking, and he's like, "Yeah, man, good luck in your match." I'm like, "Yeah, good luck." And then he comes out after the match airs, and he's like, "Man," I was like, "Yeah, I had to put on a good face." Like, "Oh, really? How far in advance?" Like the week before you met me. is when we tape my match. It's like, holy crap! And it's like, yeah, we also know the outcome of the team's match because they're taping the finals
Yep.
and we were there. So it's like that's kind of one of the things that being a competitor and being can peek behind the curtain with is like. You got to play it on all fronts. You got to as a competitor, as a personality, and then you got to play along with the match hasn't aired yet, so you got to make I'm gonna beat this guy's ass in this match, even though we already taped it.
Even though I already know that I lost,
Yeah.
it makes me have a greater respect for the competitors because
it's
after experiencing that, and now I've seen like Mike Kalinowski and all those people all over Twitter and everything shit talking each other, and I'm like, damn, he already knows he already knows it. The outcome, obviously, he was kind of there,
and that's what's one.
But they're still keeping it up.
That's a great thing about like just the people that are involved in this is how involved you have to be and how like the lengths you have to go to. Like it's a show, it's a pure show.
Yeah.
So,
but I love the fact that the thing that I love about the Schmoedown is that I could know the outcome of every match,
and you still
I'm
get nervous.
I'm still gonna watch them.
Yeah,
like. We knew we went to the taping of the Shazam family match. And so obviously we knew how that turned out. Obviously we knew that Andrew Guy announced his retirement, but it's like, oh, fuck. Now we know how it's all going to end. You bet your ass I still watched every single one as soon as they debuted.
Yeah, there's certain things that you forget. They might have added some cutscenes. Obviously the entrance with Shazam and their multiverse Spider-Verse
yes.
stick. We got to see it taped live, and it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. But then you see it edited and cut, and
you're like,
all the
okay.
effects added to it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So there's just things like that you have to rewatch the matches.
So then after Brendan Meyer's match with Benjamin, that was the number one contender match. The next match was the number one contender match at the Spectacular against Bibiani.
Yeah, and you have to give Bibiani all the credit for not taking the forfeit. Because again, this was supposed to happen in Orlando,
right?
But they pushed it back to Spectacular because of Ben's back surgery, and that's rightfully so. Because I'm glad they moved it because it'd be shitty for Bateman not to get his title shot because of his back surgery. It's not something that he did wrong. It's just circumstances that I can't travel. So that's great. And again, we already have our thoughts on the match on our first episode of this podcast. We going over the Spectacular and everything, so we don't have to dive deep into that match. But again, it was.
And the same night, of course, then he goes up against Paul Oyama, and that it just made me sad.
Yeah,
but also happy because it was great to see Ben finally get that belt.
Finally get that belt, and just not just like not to like discredit any of the other titles, but like singles is like the prestige.
Yeah,
it's the title of the Schmoedown
because it's like I got here by my damn self.
Yeah,
and you know I went through this gauntlet of a tournament.
His rise to the title is ridiculous. Just that whole just to get into the tournament, I got to beat like 2 to 3 people, and then I got to go through these like.
Yeah, didn't we? I remember feeling like. Because there were certain people that were like automatically in.
Chance got an automatic.
That's what it was. Yeah. Because people were like, Chance, this, new young gun coming in, he gets an automatic shot. And then Bateman's got to actually fight people. Yeah.
And that might have been something to Ben's benefit that he's already on a hot hand. So he goes on this run. So that might have had something to do with his run to the title. But yeah, so his first title defense will be in Atlanta, which I don't think we're going to get to go to.
I don't think so. That'd be nice.
But it'll be against whoever wins against Bibiani and Oyama. So, and you said you want to see Oyama defend or go against Bateman. So
I'd like to see either outcome,
I would like to see
obviously.
that too. I mean,
but I just like to. It would be interesting to see a better match between him and Oyama. We saw him and Bibiani go against each other. Guns a-blazing.
Yeah, that was a good match too.
But I would be just as happy to see Bibiani try to go get that belt again. Yeah, because he had it one time, right?
Yeah, he won it after Levine vacated it.
Yes.
So, but I think again, and if Bibiani loses that, he has that number one contender thing in his pocket from Free For All. So, and I think that's kind of like holding him back. It's like, well, I can go up and get this and not give it a mail because I have this security blanket. I honestly think he should just use it on teams, just to get back to that title again.
And he hasn't held the team's belt yet.
No,
so it'd just be like another notch.
Just go after another title that you haven't gone for. And I think he has not that he doesn't have a shot at the singles title. I think he has a very good shot at the singles title. But I think he has an even better shot at the team's title with Brendan Meyer and Shazam, because out of all the matches at Spectacular, the team's title match was the closest one.
Yeah. That was a really good match. That was definitely a good match. But it was uncharacteristic of Shazam to I think they missed their 3 and their 5-pointer.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit uncharacteristic. It was still a great match.
Yeah. At least it went to the fifth
It
round.
went down to the wire.
Yeah.
I mean,
not to the wire, but it went all rounds.
It went close to the wire.
Yeah, it went to all the rounds.
Yeah.
So, obviously we know where Bateman is for the next season. He gets to stay with the Finstock Exchange.
I still can't hear that. Keep a straight face yet.
Yeah.
We'll see when it settles in.
Yeah. Yeah, so we know where he's going to end up. So, other than that, who do you think has we already know he has defended against either Bibbs or Oyama. Who else do you think has a shot at that title? Because obviously Merle's focus is going to be split between teams and Inner Geekdom now that he's going to that division. We also have floating out there. There's so many competitors.
There's so many competitors. I feel like a name that's always floating out there, as a person in contention for the belt. But we haven't heard much from him lately is Ethan Irwin. That's somebody that everyone always talks about when they talk about.
Yeah, I would like him to go against for a team's title with Janine for Time Machine. I think they're one of the protected teams. I'm not sure. I gotta look at the rankings.
I don't know about that.
I don't think they are, but
hot take, spicy take. Actually, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more mild. But I don't know.
I'll take the mild take. I don't like spicy.
I think that Looney Bin Tom, he was would be monster.
He should. I totally expect Tom to make his singles debut next season.
Yes, and I hope he keeps that character even in singles because it just works. It just works.
That's another character that kind of grew on me. Video Drew's starting to grow on me too.
Oh my god, when Video Drew first came out, because she debuted alone first, and then Tom just kind of I don't know, she grew up in a lab or something. I don't know, but like when Video Drew first came out, I'm like, I don't get this chick. Like, I mean, there's funny awkward, and then there's like.
I think she's starting to learn that she needs to dial it down a bit.
Maybe. Okay.
She's dialed it down a bit more. I think going back and watching her matches, she'll be like, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing that really kind of I just wasn't digging when she first came out was the whole like talking in third person constantly.
Yeah, I think that's what she dialed down a bit.
She dropped that, it seems.
Yeah, I think she dropped that because it did get a little old with every single
answer in the
Video
first
Drew
round.
Says it's like, oh my god,
I was like, all right, enough.
Just enough. And I think she dialed that back a bit, but she still does speak in the third person.
Does she?
I think a bit every once in a while.
She just doesn't do the Video Drew says.
Yeah.
I think she might still speak in third person.
10 times funnier on social media.
Oh, I think she's hilarious on
so
Twitter
funny.
and Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh my god, typing in all caps. Because I just, that's just yelling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's starting to get better too because from what the matches we saw with her teams thing, I've always like, oh, Tom's carrying the fuck out of this chick. But her last couple of matches, she's actually turned it up and she's really like gotten better. So I think they have a shot if they stay together because they're not a protected team.
Well, I know that everybody's like really gunning for keep them together even though they're not protected.
I think two teams that the managers will get together. Let's keep these two teams together is Looney Bin and Paddington 2. Just because the way the Paddington 2 season ended, I was like, let's just all have an understanding.
Yeah,
let's just keep them together.
Let's just give them another shot.
Yeah.
And just,
Yeah. Because they are a good team. It's just actually just needs a manager. It's like, what are you doing? Stop that.
Yeah.
We won.
Shut up.
Shut your face. You won.
Unless you're really sure about that challenge. And even then, just shut it.
Yeah. And also, he needs somebody to remind him, like, how the game works. He's been in this game for, like, what, 3 seasons?
And he's still like, do I get a repeat on that?
Dude.
Do I still need my Marco board for round 2?
You're a veteran at this point. What are you doing?
No disrespect, even though I just made him sound like an idiot. Do I still have to write my dancer down with a Marco board?
So yeah, that's a team that will benefit having a manager. Just to keep him in check and like remind him of things and like, yeah.
Just shut up. just don't. You won. Just shut up.
But yeah, Tom I think is a great choice to have a run at the title.
Fucking monster.
Yeah. Mark Riley's another one that could be a sleeper. I think he's hit his stride in some cases. He's one of those competitors that if he really is serious about it, he can make a serious run at it.
Yeah.
But he's just one of those. He's one of those competitors that's kind of like
kind of spotty.
He's a little spotty sometimes. Like he'll have these amazing matches, but then like he'll lose to Stacey Howard in the first round. That's weird. He's one of those where I think he really benefits from having a teammate.
He plays very well.
He's a very excellent team competitor, especially with Ben Bateman at your side.
Yeah.
Somebody that knows the game so well, just as well as you do, and when he studies is almost unbeatable. So I don't know. There's just so many competitors out there that I just can't think of right now.
And there's going to be new competitors too, like Mr. Ben Goddard. Like, who knows what he's going to bring to the table? RB3 is going to be in the mix too. I don't know what.
I have no idea how. I think Goddard,
who knows what they have to
Goddard's
offer.
going into the singles division.
I actually hadn't considered.
Goddard, tell me. I know you're listening to this, Goddard. So hit me up on Twitter. Tell me what division.
Maybe
you're
Inner
going
Geekdom. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, and also wait.
I think Frank made a point of this. He posted this live thing on Facebook, and I was listening to him, and he thinks that we're going to see a lot more cross divisions now, like people from Inner Geekdom go into singles or singles go into Inner Geekdom. Alex Damon going from Star Wars to Inner Geekdom. So I think this is a season where we see more of that because managers are going to want to get more bang for their buck.
Yes.
So like if you only compete like me, if I compete only in Star Wars, I have very lower draft value than somebody like Murrow who competes in 2 divisions, or Alex who's champion in one and
going into
another one. So he, by announcing his debut in Inner Geekdom, his stock value goes up way more now because one, he has a title in Star Wars. Now he's saying he wants to jump into another division, so it gives you more opportunities for points. So I think that's a great point to say, like, yeah, we can see more people
just kind of dipping their toes in.
Mm-hmm. So Goddard, if you're listening, I know you are. You commented. You're always first to comment on YouTube.
Because he might be, I don't know, maybe he's an Inner Geekdom guy.
Yeah, I could see him because he knows his stuff for movies-wise.
But then, wait, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So, like, let's say that, Winston with his swag. Mm-hmm. So let's say that Winston's like, all right, I'm going to draft Ben Goddard and I'm going to draft RB3 because SEN.
Yeah.
And then one day, Ben and RB3 are like, yeah, you're cool. Let's compete as a team. Like, can you just form up a team with whoever's on your faction?
I imagine you'd have to clear it first, but I think you can do that.
But then I wonder if it's like, no, fuck that didn't work. And then maybe they have somebody else in their team and they're like, well, let me try this person.
I
wonder
how if you can
flexible.
do that just like willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I imagine you have to establish a team at the beginning of the season and run with that.
Yeah.
I know that you can drop and trade players like just throughout the season.
That's true, which means you have the potential to break up teams
and forge new teams. So I imagine you can do that throughout the season. It's just a matter of how many times you can do that.
Yeah.
Without annoying Christian.
And I wonder,
it's like, what are you doing? We had this amazing storyline. Now you got to break this team up. What are you doing?
And like, I don't know. Shazam is the only team that's popping in my head right now. Mm-hmm. Protected team. Mm-hmm. I know that no one's going to break them. Obviously, they're protected. Mm-hmm. But like, let's say halfway into the season, something weird happens. Who knows? Maybe it's a storyline thing. Mm-hmm. And then whoever drafted them is like, I'm going to trade. And I wonder if you can still break up a protected team halfway through the season.
The protected team is just for the draft. So say Shazam's a perfect example. They're a protected team.
Yeah.
So if you take Bibiani, you automatically get Brendan Meyer.
But halfway through the season, if shit goes down, you're like, no, trade.
Yeah, you can break that team up and trade one of them and bring on another player to team up with Bibiani. So I need somebody to. Christian probably have to clear that up. How many times you can do that, or like you can't like.
Is there a waiver wire?
I imagine that'd be awesome to do because
not that I even know what the fuck that means. But
you only know that word from the league.
Yes,
but like I imagine you can't just like every week just roster churn and just like I drop this player, pick up this player, trade this player, trade that. I imagine you can't do that all the time.
Yeah, because Andrew brings up the show The League, and any fantasy football knowledge I have comes from just watching that show. the small amount of knowledge I do have, because in fantasy football, isn't it like you roster churning, like you said? If you drop somebody, they're kind of they're on hold.
Yeah, they're on hold in the waiver wire.
And then after a certain amount of time,
person that has priority gets first pick.
I wonder if they're going to have that kind of an element.
I don't know if they're going to go that complicated.
Maybe season 8. Wait,
maybe.
Yeah, we're going into season 7. Maybe season 8.
Maybe season 8. I mean, this is a test run for this draft thing. I don't know if they do that with newer players coming in the league. Sorry, we'll have another draft, which is with only like rookie players.
Yeah.
So you have to go your research and maybe because they have that Patreon league. Maybe we draft. Maybe that's like the minor leagues, and you prove yourself through the Patreon league, and then people in the Patreon league go into a draft. You can select which year you want to go in, or like Christian, like, all right, I think you're ready for the big leagues. We'll put you in the draft for next season, and that's how we continue this draft thing. And because I don't want to see like all right, we had an amazing draft year. Now all the players are up for to be picked up. It's like that's because now you're chancing this amazing team that you had. It could also be argued that you don't want to like, have the same team be victor every single year.
Yeah, like fuck you, Patriots.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean that's one of the benefits of doing that, having every single player go back into the draft pool. But I can see that being a way of like, hey, you want to be in the Schmoedown? We have this Patreon league. Become a patron. You compete in that league, and maybe you go into the draft for season 8 or season 9. I can see that being a way of getting people to like be a patron and helping the show grow.
Yeah.
So that could be something cool. But yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? We haven't even talked about the founding fathers.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and move on to teams division and founding fathers. Again, let's just focus on this season.
Founding fathers record 5-2.
And I think this was a team that got put together during last season with Anarchy.
Anarchy.
I believe that's how they got together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just randomly.
Oh,
quote,
wow,
unquote,
weird.
Wow, weird. They just and
How
that's
weird.
and that's another thing to mention that people think that this whole draft thing is going to be Christian's baby and he's going to be
pulling the strings.
Like it was that way with he said that's the way it was with Anarchy, and he looked at people's like
some teams were curated.
Some teams were curated. Some teams were completely random. But this one, and I'm going to save this conversation for when we go over after the draft, because there's certain things that are happening behind the scenes with me and other managers, and talking to other managers. This is what we call a tease. But there are certain things that are happening, and this proves to me that it is 100% up to the managers. And
absolutely. The way this seems to be happening.
Something that's been happening with me and other managers and competitors. It's like, oh yeah, okay. This is Christian has no hand in where players go, and we'll talk about this after the draft because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, this draft will be the definition of what Anarchy. What people thought Anarchy was.
Yeah,
Anarchy
exactly.
was great, and I'm glad it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it shaped up the teams, and we got teams like Founding Fathers and Odd Couple, and Who's the Boss. We got teams like that out of Anarchy. So I'm glad that we're doing stuff like this.
But this draft will be the definition of Anarchy.
Yeah, this is gonna mix things up so it'll be chaos.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Okay.
So their first match in 2019 was in April against the Wildberries.
The Wildberries. Oh man, that's another team that just needs to be like a manager protected.
They just are protected for forever.
Do not break the Wildberries up.
So, and who knows how available Josh is going to be with his new gig or whatever.
He still hasn't made an announcement about that. I'm waiting for it.
Hopefully soon. And then Elliot Dewberry, who knows what the hell that guy's doing?
Hey man, he had a perfect round.
Yeah, he did.
He had a perfect. That was actually on the ballot to be nominated for Moment of the Year. Dewberry gets a perfect round. I gotta look at the nominations again. I don't think it got nominated.
I don't think it did. I don't remember seeing his name.
That's hilarious that it just got acknowledged. It's also because if you're a patron, you got to be put forth your nominations. I was in the category for Rookie of the Year. It's that's one of those. It's like, really?
Well, I mean, you got to put out a whole bunch of things out there for people to vote on.
Why am I even on the radar for that?
Because you're a rookie.
That's the only argument.
I guess.
I mean, I think on the ballot it was like, came in second place in a fatal 5-way, and that was it. It's like there's many other rookies that have a better accomplishment than that. But anyways,
how humble. So after the Wildberries match, they went against. About a month later, they went against. Oh, this was all. Wait, what? Yeah, no, this was at the Booker T.
Yes,
it was. They went against Double Toasted.
Yeah, that's a good show. I listened to it a couple times. It's a very interesting show.
Oh, okay.
It's a movie show.
Okay,
but they were they were talking a whole bunch of smack. Like, yeah, man.
Oh my god,
like, dude, you
so much shit talk, and it's like you got knocked out.
You competed once, and you're going up against this monster team.
Yeah. knocked out.
I mean, I understand, understandably so. It's for all. It's just to hype up the show and stuff like that. But it's like,
Yeah.
gee, you've clearly been away
big
from
talk.
the game. You've clearly been away from the game for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Writing a big old check.
That you obviously did not cash.
So they got knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and also the Wild Berries, they got TKO.
I'm pretty sure we saw that coming.
Yeah, it wasn't too surprising. So then after the double toasted match, we go to the number one contender match against Corruption. That was, that wasn't in Orlando.
No, this is
precursor to Orlando.
Yeah, this is Founding Fathers Corruption 1.
Yes.
And then this was the infamous.
Oh, I think it's actually, there's a Roman numeral 2 next to it. So
there is?
this is the second one.
Oh, this is the second one. I think. Oh, did they face each other? They faced each other in Anarchy. So that's what that was.
Yeah, you probably.
Yeah.
Right.
So 2 was the second time that they lost to them.
The first one happened in October 2018.
Yeah. So that was the Anarchy season.
Yeah. So this was July.
Mm-hmm.
Corruption against Founding Fathers 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Corruption beats them
in a close, in this all right match. It wasn't a close match because Founding Fathers took them to their 2-pointer.
Was this during that time that Mike only ever was able to spin James Bond for some reason?
Yes, this is his infamous James Bond run.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, Chance, did you know any of those?
Yeah, so I think the next match.
The next match was in October, and that was in Orlando.
Yes, that was when Merle cashed in on his free-for-all win and got a title shot. Mm-hmm. And then it was basically the same match for Corruption Founding Fathers 2, but flipped.
Yeah.
Because that was...
Oh, man.
ridiculous.
With Merle in Orlando, talking about Orlando.
Yes.
Merle and Roca both getting perfect round 1 and both getting the bonus question was like, oh boy.
This is going down.
This is not looking good for Corruption.
And they just go up, and they Corruption forces Founding Fathers to the 2-pointer, and Dan Merle just is like, "Yep, we got this." That was such a great atmosphere. Just like
it was.
The entire 5th round was just the crowd holding up 5s.
Yeah,
that was the
cool.
entire 5th round. It was really cool to see, live.
Like I felt really bad for Mike. And Chance, but I know that Mike takes it really seriously.
Mike takes it really seriously.
But
not that anybody else does take it seriously, but Mike is one of those competitors.
He throws his everything into this game.
When it comes, when you think of competitors like that, you think of Roca, Merle, Kalinowski, Bateman.
Yeah,
just those competitors. Just
they just throw everything into
at it. Yeah,
Kalinowski's a legend. Mm-hmm. He's absolutely one of the best.
Yeah.
So then after that Orlando match...
They just sit pretty looking for who comes out of the tournament.
What?
I
wasn't listening.
It's our marriage. Oh,
this is every day.
No, but so after they win, they just sit back and wait for the winners of the tournament.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which is Shazam, and then they get the match at Spectacular.
And... another surprise that it was ending in a TKO.
Not a huge TKO, but again, this was the closest match out of the entire night. Yeah, because it looked like it was starting to be like, oh shit, they're gonna have a tough road to heaven with both Bibiani and Brendan Meyer having a perfect round.
Oh right.
Just at the start, I was like, okay, this is.
And then the bonus question, like we said, Brendan got it, Bibiani didn't, but it was still like, whoa, yeah, perfect rounds.
Yeah, and then the thing the tide turned after the second round. And then after the betting round and the speed round, that's when it's just I got away from them. Yeah. So it was still a good match. Close. Absolutely. It was closer than the scoreboard says, and it was a good match. And now they 5 horsemen get to stick together for next season. Dagnino doesn't get to pick till the 5th round,
and he has that steal.
So the Finnish Stock Exchange is sitting very pretty for next season.
Oh yeah. They're going to be a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. It's going to be something to watch and be marveled by.
Yeah. So and aside from the inner geekdom is going to be one of the hardest divisions.
Oh, it's going to be stacked.
It's going to be so hard to compete in.
Yeah.
Depending on how Alex performs.
Yeah, I'm very
curious because he's not just a Star Wars guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's by far the strongest Star Wars competitor out of everybody. But if he can really prove his knowledge in other geek-based movies.
Yeah.
Because I know he knows Lord of the Rings. I know another. I think his second favorite franchise behind Star Wars is Indiana Jones. So those questions are in there too.
Why is Indiana Jones an inner geekdom?
It's kind of fantasy.
Just like why the fuck is James Bond, or why was James Bond an inner geekdom? It doesn't make sense.
I would argue Indiana Jones is more more geekdom, I should say.
Why? Because he's a professor?
No, because of the fantasy element.
Oh, I mean,
And yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you have that. It's a matter of how well it is, because big categories: MCU, Harry Potter, Star Trek. DC is another one. So like comic book and all those. I don't know how knowledgeable he's in that, but you also with the inner geekdom, you have to think about those off-ball movies like Back to the Future.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Rocketeer is in there.
The fuck is that?
You don't like Rocketeer? Have you ever seen Rocketeer?
It's
a good movie.
Rocketeer. The first thing that brings up in my mind is Elton John Rocket Man. I can't explain it.
But yeah, so but looking at the teams division, that's a really hard division to be successful in, because you have teams like obviously Founding Fathers champs, Shazam, Corruption,
Even the Odd Couple, yeah.
If they stay together,
Time Machine.
I don't think Time Machine. I think it's an off chance that Time Machine stays together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Even though they're a great team, I think it's doubtful they stay together. But Looney Bin, if they stay together, they're a team that can contend. Even though I think for the Looney Bin to be champions, I think Video Drew's gonna have to step up, because you can have wins with one person carrying and the other person just sort of getting points with you, but you're
not for a belt,
you can't do that with a team belt. You need to have somebody that can almost keep up with you. You need she's a solid like B player.
You need a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
They need a good manager.
Tom can play.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how strong will Video Drew make her game.
And who in the hell, what manager would like
want to keep them
sit
together
well with their personalities?
Yeah. I'm saying if Tom gets teamed up with somebody like maybe Irwin or Oyama. Yeah. Can you imagine a team like that?
He is a powerhouse.
He is a fucking powerhouse. If you can match with somebody of the caliber of Preston, they're not a protected team. So if you can get matched with somebody like that,
they would be very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous to compete for that belt. So I don't know who. Well, because as of right now, I think the top team in my eyes, top two teams to go for the belt would be Shazam and Corruption.
Yes.
Just because they're just sitting pretty right now in the rankings.
Yes.
But Dark Horse, I think it would be somebody like maybe Odd Couple.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
I mean, they previously held it.
Or maybe Who's the Boss? Who's the Boss could be another interesting team.
Well, Ben's on fire right now.
Yeah. They get like protected teams. I think Who's the Boss has a good chance at it. I'm trying to think about any other teams, but who knows? We might have a new team just come out of the works in this draft, because you might have somebody like maybe Goddard teams up with whoever else gets drafted.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I think if Tom's going to get teamed up with somebody, and he's going to go into singles, and he's going to be someone to really contend with.
Whoever gets Tom will definitely have points just like coming in, just because he's missed maybe 2 questions.
No, something crazy.
His matches, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like in one of his last matches, he was just on a roll, perfect round, this and that, and then like he missed a question in the 3rd round, and everyone was like, "What? What just happened?" Oh, he actually got it wrong. Okay, wow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that was the last round question too. It wasn't like So it wasn't like an easy give me question. It was a legit hard question.
Yeah.
So other than that, just looking at the team's division, how long do you think the Founding Fathers can go and defend that?
How long do I think, or how long do I want? I don't know. I'm just so scared. I'm scared that not that I think that they're going to lose, but I'm scared that they have a potential to lose it, and then I'm scared that Roka's going to be like, all right, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of. So I hope that they are able to defend it.
One of the worries that I have is that their run and their defense of their title was just like a magic thing. Like it was just a special thing for that season, and now they're just burnt out. That's one of my worries.
Yeah.
Is that it's like because like when you win a title, it's like it's just this magic thing that happens, and like you're just on for that run and that defense, but then like you're like sitting pretty at high, and then you just lose that spark.
That's what I'm scared of.
That's what I'm scared of for the Founding Fathers, because you know Merle's in it for the long run now.
Well, now that he's like just,
Yeah.
dancing into inner geekdom,
Yeah,
so he's
exactly.
obviously not done.
It's just the question of how long will Roka want to keep this up? Because he's been in it
Since the
long
beginning.
time. He's been in it. He's one of the founding fathers, pun intended, of the Schmoedown. So it's just a matter. I think Merle is in it for long. It's just a matter of whether Roka wants to like keep it up for as long as he can, because he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Working for Collider, and like where does he have time to study and just things like that, and especially with all these teams just coming forward, these strong teams, not just like teams like I think we'll see what happens. There's teams that have proven in the past that they can hold the title at any given time. So.
And who knows? Who knows? We got random people. We got Bonnie Somerville. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Like we got random people in the draft, and you don't know what's going to come out of these people.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the season's going to be great.
And obviously, when coming up in the next couple episodes, we'll probably have to schedule a couple, because we're going to be in LA for the draft and for the awards, obviously, because the ballots came out. I'm up for Entrance of the Year.
Hell yeah!
And in good company too. There were a couple entrances that I was surprised didn't get nominated, but I'm hoping that I have a strong argument for Entrance of the Year. I imagine.
I would hope so.
But we'll go in deeper conversation with that coming in the next episodes. But anything else that we want to talk about? We're under an hour this time.
Hey, and I don't know if I mentioned it last, episode or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that we have an idea for.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna get nominated for Entrance of the Year next year, because we got a pretty sweet idea.
We got a great thing planned for next whenever my next match is.
We just got to figure out the logistics of it.
Yeah, it depends on the type of match it'll be too. Because if I get a studio match, definitely we're 100% doing this thing that we have in mind.
Yeah.
But if my next match is Celebration, it's gonna be a little harder to pull that off.
We will figure it out, because we will be nominated again.
Yeah.
You will, not we, but also we.
Well, it's a fair argument to say we, because you have as much participation in this as I do. So yeah, because other people behind the curtain, it's like we've already started the process of studying again and dissecting the matches. Or not matches, the movies.
What's the runtime of Clone Wars? Do you know off the top of your head an approximation?
It's less than 2 hours.
Is it like an hour and a half?
I think so.
I spent about 3 hours watching the Clone Wars last weekend, because I was just starting and stopping and rewinding and taking notes. It was excruciating. And I'm going to do it a couple more times.
And you did that with Clone Wars, of all movies.
Yeah. I have a better understanding of the Clone Wars now.
Yeah.
So I guess I got that going
just,
for me.
Just for that purpose alone, again, I said this in the last cast, is that you'll probably be able to compete in this division.
Give me a call, Christian.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to clip this out and send it to Christian, I haven't heard if Christian's listened to this yet, but I know a couple other people like Goddard, Frank, a couple other people.
Mr. Kevy Smets.
Yeah, Kevin Smets. So I know people involved in the Schmoedown have listened to this. So if anybody wants to relay this, we're gonna see him in January in the next couple weeks, anyways. So it's like, if you need a fifth, we have an alternate for you.
I'm kind of joking, but if it happens, it fucking happens.
I mean, yeah.
Because I think I would get savaged, but it'd be fun.
I think you'd make it interesting. Again, 5 ways a great way to debut.
I know a lot about the Clone Wars right now, so.
But you're gonna be doing that with all the rest of the movies too. So.
Yeah.
So bottom line, just saying it's not out of the argument. You're as involved in this as I am,
guys.
Because we have the draft coming up, and I'll have an official manager, but off-screen management, it's no doubt you.
I'll be the Phantom Menace behind it all.
You'll be the Palpatine pulling the strings. Yeah, I think we're just gonna wrap it up here. We didn't run as long as we did. I promised that we wouldn't run as long as we did last episode because it's just. I think the reason we did was just we have so much involvement in the Star Wars division, and we have so much more to say about that division than we do these ones.
Yeah.
So, but we kept it short. So we're just gonna wrap it up for this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you online?
I'm on Twitter.
Don't whisper it. You gotta say it louder. So they can
I'm
hear you.
on Twitter. And you can find my twits at Dimmy, Dimmyy.
All right. Yeah. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter as well, and as also as Instagram, just at Drew Dimalanta, Dimalanta. If you're listening to this on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, do a lot more other things than just this podcast. You can see me in Star Wars. Big plans for next year. I know I've promised this in the past, more like short videos and things like that, little skits. I have a couple of scripts in the works trying to get those videos done. But so subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that. And also follow us on all the podcasting streams. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Anchor.
Yes. Follow us on Anchor. If we get enough following, we'll maybe do another podcast. Maybe start a Patreon. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
So spread the word about this podcast. I know a lot of people are enjoying it. The numbers are tracking up. So got a lot to look forward to in this next coming year and season in the Schmoedowns.
Yeah,
so
it could be fun to talk about things
maybe suggest some closing
other than just one subject.
Yeah.
Because
So-
I have thoughts on things.
Yeah, so spread the word of this podcast. The numbers are tracking well. So until next week, guys, we'll see you later. We still don't have a closer for this. We got to think of something.
God.
So we're just going to say until next time, guys. Thank you for joining
Until
us
next time.
on Beyond the Schmoedown.